All right, can you give me your name and your title?
Jeffrey Marks, Ross County Prosecuting Attorney.
And you were in the with the county commissioners and the Huntington Township Trustees discussing Floral Hills Memory Garden.
Correct, yes.
Can you summarize what you advised everyone?
Well, I think today's discussion was the Huntington Township Trustees sitting down with the commissioners and just starting to get an open dialogue going. Obviously, we've got the pending case in front of Judge Ader in the Court of Common Pleas with the Attorney General's office, and Huntington Township is a named defendant in that particular lawsuit, just from the standpoint of the fact that the Attorney General's office is trying to determine and argue that the higher vice code makes it so that the township has to take over Floral Hills. And I've had numerous discussions with the trustees and gone over, what the law is, and ultimately it's a gray area right now as to whether or not it's a public cemetery or it's a private cemetery, and that's what we're hoping to get determined here sooner rather than later. If it ends up, the big
issue is because the private owners defaulted on it.
Yeah.
What, 10, 12 years ago?
Oh gosh, I want to say they left town 2011, 2012.
And so volunteers have been picked up.
Volunteers have been taking care and maintaining, and Dave Robertson and his group has done an outstanding job trying to keep up with it. And the fact is, it's just a whole lot of land for volunteers to be able to maintain successfully over a long period of time. And he did an outstanding job for a long period of time. But I understand his concern now about it gets to be too much, and it's time for something to happen with it.
And it seems the consensus is that cemetery can pay for itself, but it's got all the liens and taxes.
There are tax liens, judgment liens, federal liens, state liens. There's a county lien for $19,000. There's just a lot of delinquency with respect to that property, which makes it very difficult for any interested buyer to come in to want to purchase that and take it over and maintain it as a cemetery.
Plus a crumbling entrance bridge.
Well, the entrance bridge is certainly a big concern. The safety of the individuals going in and out, not only to maintain it, mow, weed whack, things of that nature, but family members that want to go in to see the graves of their loved ones. Huntington Township currently is in a position where it's not their responsibility. So they can't go in and start fixing this stuff up until there's a determination made that by statute they take possession of this.
It's a legal limbo.
Yeah, and once that determination is made, public, private cemetery, if it's a public cemetery, it is most likely going to default to the township. And at that point in time, there are avenues for them to get assistance, to get over that first year hump, and those were the costs that the trustees were talking about that first year, just getting it to the point where it is a safe place for families to come there. Fixing the bridge, getting paving done, getting the cemetery presentable, for lack of a better word.
And the commissioners said they were open to helping out too.
They said, if we get to the point where it does become the responsibility of Huntington Township to take over Floral Hills, that they would certainly be open to having a conversation about providing some kind of upfront assistance. As we were talking, this isn't a situation where they're looking to take it over, the commissioners, to take it over and maintain it long term, and I don't think that's what the township's asking for. They're just saying, we have this amount of cost that it's going to take us to get to the point where we can maintain it going forward. That's what we need help with, and I think that's what today's conversation was just kind of laying the foundation for that future conversation of if it becomes the property of Huntington Township and it falls under their care and control, then we'll be back, commissioners, and we hope to have a meaningful discussion about helping us out and doing whatever you can to get us over that hump.
And hopefully an answer will be given Thursday afternoon.
It's possible. I would never say that there's definitely going to be an answer. I know that the last status conference in July, Judge Ader indicated that this is a question that he would like to have answered on Thursday at the status conference. So hopefully we're able to get that answer. Like I said, there's no straightforward definition.
Even with reforms in state law, it's still not helping this situation.
Yeah, it's you've got some sides looking at it from it's public or private based upon who owned it. If it was a private company like Serenity Group run by Downey and Miller, it's a private cemetery. Then you got the other side that's looking at it from, was it open to the public as far as being anyone from the public buying lots and plots there? Well, then that makes it public. So you've kind of got those two competing views of, what makes the determination public or private? Is it who owns it, or is it who has access to it?
And if it's not determined to be public on Thursday, then this painful situation just continues.
Well, as the case goes forward, the case doesn't end on Thursday if there's no determination made and that question isn't answered.
And it could be eventually auctioned by the state like their other cemetery north of Circleville?
Well, that was done through a tax foreclosure where my understanding of that situation is the treasurer's office foreclosed on the property up in Pickaway County. And they tried to sell it at auction, starting out at like $110,000, and no buyers because of all the liens and everything. Then they had a second auction at a much reduced rate, and nobody purchased it. And I think after that second auction, it then defaults to the state of Ohio, and the state auditor conducted a sale where I'm not sure who the individual is that purchased it, but it ended up being purchased for pennies on the dollar, and that's who maintains that particular facility now. So I guess we're all just waiting to see what happens. There's a bunch of options out there, but we're trying to work through what's best for the township, and wearing two hats in this case, representing the treasurer's office and the township. Those two sides aren't competing right now, so I'm able to tiptoe around this and effectively help out both sides to the best of my ability. But
representing the treasurer's office because of the tax revenue from the tax liens?
Well, yeah, because there's a delinquency on the property taxes that haven't been paid. I believe it's about $19,000.
And you also serve as counsel for the commissioners?
Legal counsel for the commissioners, legal counsel for all of the township boards of trustees. So in this particular lawsuit, I represent both Huntington Township and the treasurer's office. Commissioners aren't a party to this lawsuit. They're just involved in the conversation for possible assistance down the road.
But you're wearing many hats right now.
Oh, more than I know sometimes. Yeah.
All right. And can you just give me your name and title again?
Yeah, Jeffrey Marks, Ross County Prosecuting Attorney.
All right. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.